Radiant Black issue number 31 from Image Comics. It's been forever since we've had a Radiant Black issue. I think the last one was in like October of last year. So yeah, it's been a few months. And we are done with the huge Catalyst War. I'm so glad that that's over. So just a super quick recap. Finished the Catalyst War. During that, a huge chunk of Chicago was destroyed. A lot of people lost their lives. Marshall became the permanent Radiant Black. Nathan ended up leaving for LA to pursue his dream of becoming a screenwriter, and a bunch of people from an alternate universe came into this universe to live. That's kind of like the basic gist. If you want more detailed information, you can just go watch my previous video on this. I've covered every issue of Radiant Black, so yeah. So we have Marshall, and it's basically a slice of life as being Radiant Black. He gets a warning on his phone, an alert, and he just goes about his day. And his day is going around trying to help the people of Chicago. So there's like a giant destroyed robot that the city can't move. And so Marshall's trying to get it to move. Basically trying to take the giant robot and dump it somewhere else so it's not in the middle of the city. There's another alerts where there are kids graffitiing houses and Marshall has to stop them. One where I guess the lady has her cat stuck on the roof and Marshall has to go save it. Just things like that. And he's just constantly bouncing from one job to the next. Like as soon as he's in the middle of one, he gets a message to go save another. As soon as he's doing that, he gets a message to go save someone else. And so he's just basically stressing out. He's like, oh my God, when can I get a break? And finally, he seems to get a break because he matches with this woman named Erica. So he goes on a date and basically just chats with her. And it seems to be going okay, if not a little bit awkward. There is a point where she's talking about how she's reading books about conspiracy theories. She's like QAnon, Pizzagate, Sabrina-verse, that whole thing. So QAnon and Pizzagate are actual conspiracy theories in our universe. I think Sabrina-verse is the conspiracy theory that I'll bring up later on. Yeah, as soon as she said it, I was like, oh, okay. That's an interesting take. I don't know how I would feel if I went on a date and the girl started talking about conspiracy theories. I would probably just wife her right then and there, to be honest. I freaking love reading conspiracy theory stuff. I don't necessarily believe in that stuff, but I love reading that kind of stuff. Like I was watching videos the other day, I guess just a little off topic, on the moon and how the moon might actually be hollow and it might actually be an alien spaceship that was put here to monitor us and to capture our souls when we die. Yeah, it sounds very weird, but it's like I love reading that kind of stuff, watching that kind of stuff. It's just, I don't know, as a writer, it gives me ideas and I find it fascinating. So if I went on a date and a girl started talking about that kind of stuff, I'd probably be like, okay, yeah, I definitely want to pin you in for a second date. This is going very well. That would be pretty awesome. Things seem to be going okay. He thinks that, oh, maybe this is a girl I can start dating from now on. And he's feeling pretty good. And he goes home where he sees Ava, Radiant Pink, rummaging through his fridge. And I guess they are roommates. I don't know when that happened. I guess sometime after the Catalyst War. But Ava and Marshall are living together, which is kind of weird. I mean, I guess we did have like a moment where they were like helping each other out. I mean, obviously there's no romantic thing going down here. Like that's completely obvious. For one, Ava is gay, so. But I haven't seen too many interactions between the two of them where, you know, it would seem like they would be close enough to become roomies. But it is interesting. I'm hoping they build on that. One of my biggest complaints about this series is that despite being a somewhat homage inspired by the Sentai series, Power Rangers, for anyone who was not familiar with tokusatsu, our characters don't really seem to interact with the other characters in the group all that much. Like outside of some big events and maybe helping each other out every once in a while, it seems like all the Radiants are doing their own thing. So one of my biggest complaints was I want to see them interacting with each other more, not just when they're in their superhero costumes, but also in their daily lives. Like that's one of the big selling points about the Super Sentai series or Power Rangers, is that you see this group and they're friends. They're friends both when they're superheroes and outside of the costume. They help each other out. They hang out with each other. So it always kind of just bothered me that we never saw the Radiants hang out with each other. So I am interested to see where they're going to go with this. That maybe they can confide in each other more. Maybe we can see them building up that friendship. So yeah. Unfortunately, though, Ava's just there to get some tacos and then she's going to teleport herself back to Paris. That's all we really see of her for now, until a little bit later on. And then Marshall gets a text message that Erica is like, I'm gonna pass on going on another date next week. Something just didn't feel right, but best of luck to you. And so he's bummed out because his date failed. So he decides to start listening to podcasts. And the podcasts are your typical superhero cliche where you have some people believe that Radiant Black is doing the good thing. He's fighting the good fight. He's a hero. And then you have others thinking that he's an irresponsible vigilante with no accountability. Cliche stuff. I was kind of hoping we wouldn't go that route just because, again, it's a trope that's been done to death. And it's always the same. Like, I never really see people take in any interesting directions, but I'm willing to see where this one goes. Hopefully they do something new with it. But yeah, I'm just kind of tired of the whole like split audience where half the people like the superhero, the other half doesn't. And then you have the hero feeling guilty and just listening to the negative half and not listening to the positive half. We see it all the time. So I'm kind of hoping we don't dwell on that too much, or if we do, at least take it in some new territory. But Ava appears the next morning and she's going through Marshall's phone, which huge no. Don't go through other people's phones. Like, that's really messed up. But she questions why he has a photo of a kid's shoe just lying on the ground around a bunch of rubble. And that's when he gets another alert, and he goes to this guy's apartment because this guy needs help. But when he shows up, he discovers that the guy is dead, tied up and bloody in his bathtub with a bomb that goes off and basically almost kills a bunch of homeless people if it weren't for Marshall saving them. And that's when we see this other guy who seems to be dressed up in a suit similar to Radiant Black. But before Marshall can do anything, the guy disappears. And we have just the homeless people bad-mouthing Marshall and stuff. And that's when we get the Sabrina-verse. So I was kind of wondering, what the hell is the Sabrina-verse conspiracy theory? Because I know all the other ones, like I've heard about QAnon and Pizzagate and all that stuff. I've never heard of Sabrina-verse. And then that's when I realized, oh, okay, it's a conspiracy theory in this universe. And what the conspiracy theory is, it's people believing that there are a bunch of doubles in this world, that there are a bunch of like doppelgangers, and that Marshall, Radiant Black, is a killer who's killed a bunch of people. And so you have people like wondering, like, wait, is he a killer? Is he a hero? What's going on? And for anyone who's like confused, if you haven't been keeping up with the series, again, you can go watch my previous videos, but I'll just quickly recap you on this. So there were two different timelines. The one timeline, Marshall went full evil, and he was like the big bad villain, and he ends up destroying the entire world. But a handful of people get saved by the Radiants. They're able to take those people and teleport them to this universe. And so that's what these doubles are. These doubles are actually alternate universe versions of people that are already living here, which just seems like a really bad idea. I don't know how I would feel if some dude showed up and he's like, yeah, here's an alternate universe of you. He's going to be living in this world now. Like, I'd feel like, okay, first off, how do I know this dude's not going to like kill me and try to take over my life or something? Like, it's just very, very weird to drop on people. I mean, the government's trying to keep it hush-hush, but it just seems like a really bad idea. The world was being destroyed, and they didn't want innocent people to die. So they're like, okay, let's save as many people as we can, and we'll bring them to our world. And we will try to put them in like witness protection and all that stuff. But news got released, and those people witnessed their Marshall destroying the world and killing a bunch of people. So to them, Marshall is a bad guy. Or I should say Radiant Black, because they don't know Radiant Black is Marshall. Radiant Black is a bad guy. But in this universe, Radiant Black is not a bad guy. He saved the world. So that's where you get like the two differing opinions. So Marshall is just very bummed out about this. He's bummed out about the fact that this information got released. And he tells Ava, hey, you asked about the shoe earlier. When me and Nathan went over to that other timeline, our phones got synced. So for some reason, I was getting Marshall's texts, his images. Like, I got synced up with that version's Marshall's phone. And for some reason, he had that picture. He had a picture of some little boy's shoe laying in a bunch of rubble. And by looking at the picture, you can pretty much guess that the boy was killed. And Marshall's like, why would he do that? Why would he have pictures of a little boy's shoe? And he basically just kind of keeps it as a reminder. Because to him, that other version is him. He's like, it's basically me. Like, I did those things. Even though he literally didn't. It was another version of him. It doesn't matter. Because he believes, like, you know, if a version of me can do that, what's to stop me from doing that? So I have that picture as a reminder. to keep me sane, so that I will know to never fall in that guy's footsteps. I will never become that marshal. And I was like, okay, that's a nice little touch. And he was like, the only thing that kept me sane these last few months was that no one knew about that. That no one knew that there was another marshal out there that basically killed an entire universe. But now they know because of the Sabrina-verse conspiracy theory. There's someone out there that knows about this. And it turns out that there's actually someone out there that's hunting down the doubles, which is the guy that we saw earlier. He's the one that planted the bomb. So that's going to be the new antagonist. It's someone who I'm guessing is from the other universe that came into this universe and has beef with Marshall. The question is, why is he going around killing the doubles? And I'm wondering, it's not really made clear to me. Maybe I'm just stupid, but I'm wondering, is this guy killing like the doppelgangers? Is he killing the doppelgangers that were brought in from the other universe? Or is he killing the doppelgangers, like this world's counterpart, so that the other world's counterpart can take their place? That I don't know. He's going around, he's killing doubles, but they never said what exactly the doubles are. If the doubles were the originals or the ones from the other universe. Seeing as they're called the doubles, I'm assuming the other ones from the other universe, which then begs the question why he's doing this. But yeah, this guy seems to have a hate boner for Radiant Black and wants him dead. And I'm kind of thinking that, I don't know if I'm completely like wrong about this, but in that other universe, the reason why Marshall went crazy is because Nathan died. So this universe is Marshall, his Nathan survived. But in the other universe, Nathan died. And so Marshall went crazy and ended up becoming evil and stuff. So I'm wondering if the guy who is trying to hunt down this Radiant Black and kill him, if maybe that's that Nathan's dad? That would kind of make sense for why he would want to do this. Like his son got killed. It wasn't because of Marshall, but Marshall didn't help. Marshall like didn't kill him with his own hands, but Marshall couldn't save him. Maybe he realizes that his son's dead because of Marshall's inactions. He gets teleported to this universe, and to him, it's like every Marshall is the same. It doesn't matter. Like I don't care if it's our universe's version, if it's this universe's version. Radiant Black is the reason my son is dead, so I'm going to kill any version of Radiant Black. So that's my theory. I guess we'll see if I'm right about that or not. I feel like there's got to be some kind of connection. It can't just be some rando. I mean, I guess it could, but I feel like that wouldn't make for a very entertaining story. It's got to be someone that has like a personal connection to this whole situation. So that's what my guess is. But yeah, that's Radiant Black issue number 31. Thought it was okay. I felt like the first half was kind of weak. I get why they did it, to kind of just show like here's the aftermath of everything that went down, and just kind of showing like here's what Marshall's life is now like post Catalyst War. I feel like the date kind of, other than maybe just setting up the one line of the Sabrina verse, I felt like the date didn't kind of really help much. It was just more showing about how stressed out and not so much fun being a superhero is. But we kind of got that earlier with the earlier montage of him constantly bouncing around. So yeah, I didn't care for that too much. I felt like that just dragged on too much. Once we got to the actual, like, hey, here's a bomb. It blew up this dude. There's some kind of guy hunting down doubles and he wants to kill you. And Marshall talking with Ava, like that, all that was good. So like the last half of this issue is good. First half is kind of weak and very, very slow. I get why it's there, but it could have been done better. I like this new antagonist idea. I think that was another problem that I've had with previous Radiant Black arcs, was that I feel like the antagonist was just, they've always been kind of weak. I mean, the Catalyst War was the first time we've had an antagonist that lasted for more than like an issue or two. So I'm hoping that's the case here, where we actually build up to this, big baddie. Because before we would have like a setting up that, oh, this antagonist is a huge threat. But then they get defeated in like an issue. We'll have one issue building up them as a huge threat. And then the next issue, they get defeated, and it's just like on to the next villain. It's like, oh, okay, whatever. So hopefully we're building up this guy to be someone who can be a serious threat. I like the slow relationship between Ava and Marshall, like that friendship. I'm hoping we get to build on that a little bit more. And then you can even throw in Radiant Red. I don't know what the hell Radiant Yellow is doing now. He seems to be off in his own thing. But I want to see more of these Radiants interacting with each other outside of superhero stuff. So that's why I like the fact that they're roomies, because we get to see more of their interactions, and I want to see more of that because, again, I want to see more of them interacting with each other and actually being a team outside of superhero stuff. Like see how they are like in their own personal lives. So yeah, this was basically a tale of two halves. First half was pretty weak and slow. Second half was a lot better. I'm interested to see though where they're going to take the next issue, where this arc is going. I'm looking forward to how this arc is going to go. So I think Radiant Black is on an upswing in terms of quality. It's been hit or miss in the past for me. Started off really terrible, got really good, then it got kind of boring, then it got pretty good, then it just dragged on for too long with the Catalyst War, and now it seems to be a little bit on the uptick. So hopefully it continues, because when this series is good, it's good. But sometimes you gotta, slog through some of the slop to get to that. I'm kind of rambling at this point. I thought this was an okay issue. Again, weak first half, better second half. There's Radiant Black, issue number 31. Hope you enjoyed. Hope to see you next time. Take care. Later. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you didn't, I still want to thank you for watching it this far, and I hope the next one is more to your liking. With that said, thank you once again, and I hope you guys and gals have a good one. Later.